Parents tell us every single week we've been to every specialist, we've run every test, but nobody can tell us why our child is even struggling. Blood work they do comes back normal, MRIs seem to show nothing, and EEGs are clear. And yet your child is still dealing with chronic ear infections, speech delays, sensory meltdowns, focus challenges, or sleep struggles that just won't quit. Here's what's happening. Traditional pediatric medicine is looking for pathology and disease, and they're always asking, is there something seriously wrong? But they're completely missing the most important question that they should be asking. How well is the nervous system actually functioning in the first place? See, your child's pediatrician tracks their height and weight at every single visit. But what about the system that controls their digestion, their immunity, their sleep, their movement, their behavior, their emotions, and ultimately their development? What about the air traffic controller that coordinates every single function in your child's body? Now, that's where insight scans come in. And for thousands of families, these scans finally provide the answers they've been searching for all along. So if you're exhausted from collecting a diagnosis after a diagnosis after a diagnosis without getting any real solutions for your child, if you've been told to just wait and they'll grow out of it, or let's just wait and see what happens, when you know deep down that something needs to change for your child, then this video is going to be for you. Because today we're going to talk about why traditional pediatric exams miss the most critical piece of your child's health puzzle. You're going to learn about 3 types of scans we use to measure nervous system function, and a few of the categories, what we call a raging bull and a drunken bull pattern, and what it means for your child, and why ultimately this objective data changes everything when it comes to getting real answers and real progress for your child. Just like Braden. So at a few weeks old, Braden's parents were told that their beautiful baby boy needed to be evaluated for seizures and for infantile spasms. Every time they laid him on his back, he went into uncomfortable spasms. The parents couldn't sleep, and they were terrified when it came to diaper changes. Now, multiple neurological specialists said the spasms would probably get worse, and the next step was a hospital EEG. But while they were waiting 4 to 6 weeks for that appointment, their doctor recommended something different. Their doctor recommended that they get the neurological insight scans that we offer. Now, Braden's scan showed his nervous system was extremely stressed and dysregulated. Birth stress locked his body into sympathetic fight or flight mode, and he was unable to calm and coordinate his neurology. But here's what made all the difference. The scans didn't just give us another diagnosis. They revealed the root cause and provided a safe plan to help us de-stress his neurology. Now, after just the first week of gentle adjustments, Braden stopped having the spasms. He didn't have a single one after that. Mom then described him as a calm, happy, beautiful baby. And when they finally did that hospital EEG 4 to 6 weeks later, it was completely clear of any seizure activity. Braden's thriving today because his parents got the test that actually matters. Now, let's talk about what traditional medicine misses. They are really focused on signs and obviously pathology, but they're not necessarily focusing on the functional piece. They're going to do blood work looking for disease markers. They'd order MRIs to look at structural problems and EEGs to check for seizure activity. And all of these tests are really asking the same question: is there something seriously wrong or damaged within my child? But the problem is nearly 1 in 12 children has a speech or a language condition. And the vast majority of those kids have normal blood work, normal MRIs, normal EEGs. All the traditional tests show nothing. These tests miss what really matters: is the nervous system's role in coordinating body functions. And while the pediatrician's height and weight chart indicates their growth, insight scans assess the nervous system's management of growth, immunity, digestion, sleep, behavior, and ultimately their overall coordination of just how they function and making sure that it's moving in the right direction at all times. The nervous system is the air traffic controller for your child's entire body. And when it's stuck in stress mode, due to prenatal tension, birth trauma, or early life challenges, everything else is going to struggle too. Now let's talk about those insight scans. Insight technology gives us 3 scans to work together that shows us exactly what's going on within your child's nervous system. We have our neurothermal scan, which shows us how stress is going to affect your child's digestion, immunity, their organ function, helps us explain conditions like reflux, constipation, ear infections, and children who are frequently falling ill. We also have the neurospinal EMG. Now this is going to measure muscle tension in the spine, which allows us to explain developmental delays, sensory issues, focus problems, and coordination challenges for kids. And last but not least is our HRV scan. Now, this shows us how well your child is adapting to stress. And so it explains when your child might struggle with transitions or emotions, and when they maybe aren't sleeping as well as you'd like them to. It's potentially because their nervous system is stuck in a state of overdrive. Together, these three scans give us the picture that traditional medicine's not really looking at. Now, we talked about patterns early on in this video. The EMG shows us specific stress patterns where your child is struggling and ultimately why they're struggling the way that they are. Now, I mentioned a raging bull. Now, this means a nervous system is stuck in overdrive. It shows up as a child who struggles with anxiety, hyperactivity. They're going to have behavioral issues in school, and they're not a very good sleeper. Their system literally just cannot shut off. Now, on the other side, we have the drunken bull. This is going to be someone who struggles with poor coordination. Organization in the nervous system is not good, so it leads to focus issues, low muscle tone, sensory struggles, and learning challenges. Now, both of those patterns originate from the same place, what we call the perfect storm. And this is where early stress through pregnancy, birth trauma, early illnesses, multiple rounds of antibiotics, and ongoing environmental pressure slowly stacks up over time. The research really shows that kids with more than 6 antibiotic rounds before the age of 3 face significantly higher risk for allergies, asthma, and gut issues because those early stressors compound and are locking their nervous system into dysregulation. Now, that's a lot of stuff, but ultimately, there's good news. Kids are not stuck this way. When the nervous system balance is restored, their scan patterns change, and so does their health and development. So, why does this change everything? Well, the insight scans replace guessing with objective data. They show you exactly what's happening and track exactly how your child is healing. When we have all these different therapies that get recommended, it feels like we're pushing a car up a hill with a parking brake on. You seemingly are doing everything right. You're going to all the appointments, you're making all the visits, but progress is slow because there really isn't a foundation to work on in the first place. What our insight scans show, those stress patterns, it really helps us kind of guide your child's care to make sure that we can restore the nervous system balance. And then we see all the other therapies start working at their best. Parents ultimately see changes in sleep, digestion, behavior, focus, and even children's immunity within just a few weeks through proven rescans and the stuff that parents are seeing at home. So if you're tired of hearing wait and see, or you're just collecting labels, but you're not getting any real answers for your child, insight scans might be exactly what your family needs. These scans reveal why traditional medicine is overlooking function, giving us a clear path forward instead of more guesswork. Your child deserves more than trait management. They deserve to have their nervous system functioning at its full potential so they can finally thrive. Click the link in our bio, send us a DM, or schedule directly with us at Pure Chiropractic in Livonia. Let's get your child the answers and the help they deserve today. We'll see you soon.